Welcome to Convention Reviews. Today we'll be talking about Queen City Anime Con. This is a anime convention that has moved to a new venue in Concord, North Carolina, which is just right outside the Charlotte metro area. This particular anime con focuses in LBGT content as well as a lot of other nerd-related content as well. One unique aspect of this particular event that I do want to point out was that there was some aspects behind the scenes that were outside of the organizers' control. One of the big ones being that the hotel itself was going through a major renovation and were basically forced to move the event from November back to September. But even doing this, they were still in the very early stages of construction. The hotel was actually actively under construction with jackhammers going on in the background on Friday and Saturday as well. One thing I will say also is that because they had to make changes on such short notice, many things had to kind of be shortened up where I'm sure that it affected everything from the vendors hall to panelists to overall content as well. So I do want to at least put a stipulation on that as well. One thing the convention had to do was actually put 2 rooms up on a second floor, which could only be accessed via elevator, which was interesting. But outside of that, there was also a really decent game room, which, wasn't huge, but definitely had a decent amount of selection for the time I was there, which is really nice considering, for those who do enjoy these kinds of games, you have at least a good 15 to 30 minutes to play an arcade game to a level of satisfaction for at least a small bit of time. The event also had quite a few fan panel rooms throughout the convention, which really kind of had a wide variety of selection of stuff from, stuff that would appeal much more to an older audience, as well as content that was much more LBGT themed, which was interesting. You don't really see it at quite a lot of other conventions as well. There was a featured panelist, the Fatal Fanatics, which had a lot of music themed panels, specifically around Shinichiro Watanabe and Cowboy Bebop, among many others, as well as more black related content, which is cool. The one thing I will say though is that some of the projector screens were quite small and hard to see, especially if you were not directly in the front, which seems to be something that was a repeating theme throughout the convention. One of the interesting aspects of the convention was the main core that was invited for the convention, and Circus Saluna, as well as many of the other main staged events, were actually really quite interesting and good. I will say that there was also like an after dark content that was also there that was sort of more risque versions of us, as well as a drag show and some other aspects that were quite fun to say the least. Outside of that, there also was a, cosplay contest, which, relatively speaking was small, but, definitely had some really great skill and talent, put their works together for this particular convention, to say the least. But there also was some interesting side content, as well as like a dating game show, as well as karaoke, which was quite well attended as well. Another aspect I really like about this convention is that they have a really great food selection for this event. They invited quite a few food trucks to the event, which had quite a variety of different options from more traditional kind of carnival fare to Filipino and Japanese. And was kind of cool because there actually was a little hay truck there as well. So, as well as there also were a lot of close by options that were within, about a 5-mile radius, which isn't too bad, all things considered. Like always, there also was an amazing selection of cosplay from around the convention as well, representing more new stuff that's very popular, like K-pop Demon Hunters, to, older and among many others. One that was actually kind of funny was that I ran across this event was somebody had a little shrine for Haru Uraha, the Uma Musume horse that unfortunately passed away pretty recently, which was a fun little shrine. Overall, I think the convention was a pretty decent success. I do feel that it is very much geared towards a local audience. I would not necessarily say it's worth driving in from very far out of town for this, or at least making it just a short weekend Saturday, Sunday trip to say the least. But if you attended this convention, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next convention review.